Greetings, and welcome to this episode of The Weekly Ring, April 22nd, 2019. I'm your host, Tasia, Sweezer.
And I'm Ebony Duell.
This weekend was Easter weekend. Tell us a little bit about your break this week.
Well, Tasia, my Easter weekend was great. It started on Friday. So, of course, it's the end of the school year. Homework. I can't stress it enough. Preparing for finals, that's what I did. I went home, of course, this weekend, too. And spent some time with my family, went to church, of course, for Easter. And yeah, I got some good food, too.
Yeah, me too. And I was able to have little Lenise do her little egg hunt. So she was picking up her eggs and putting it in her basket. She won the money egg, too.
Oh, well, that's great. Recognition Day is tomorrow. Come out to the chapel and congratulate all the Bells who are going to be recognized. Here's Tasia Laster with Bennett History.
I spoke with an alum named Rosalind Smith who was involved in some of the plannings for the sit-in movement. She told me that most of the meetings were upstairs in the student union and were conducted by the president of the NAACP chapter in Greensboro, who was also a sociology professor here at Bennett College. Most students who participated were behavioral science majors and were either juniors and seniors. She also told me that most students were student leaders on campus, either serving on SGA or in class officer positions. So when the students picketed, they had very strict rules. They had to go out in groups of 2 or more, and they were not to argue or talk back to anyone who said anything to them while picketing. Dr. Player, like the president at A&T, was given an offer to allow the students to return to campus with the charges still pending. I'm going to read an interview of what Player had to say to her students when she went to visit them in the jail to let them know about this offer. Yeah, free them. And I said, if you free the girls, then I will tell the girls to come home. Meantime, the girls got upset because the boys had left from A&T, and so I had to go out and explain to them. I said, now A&T students have gone back to campus, but they have not been released. They are still jailed students, so that makes A&T a jail instead of the polio place. And I said, now I am going to, and I don't think you want to, have Bennett a jail. It's a liberal arts college, you see. And so you just stick it out. Or what do you want to do? Do you want to come back and have this hanging over your head? And they said no. They were all with me. And they got up and they sang the alma mater and they just restirred themselves, And they stayed until they released them. And when they released them, then they returned to campus. And one of the people who tried to get me to release to go along with this was Dr. Tarpley. And I said, Dr. Tarpley, Bennett is not a jail, and I am not going to bring those girls back under that kind of situation. And I said, and the girls want to stay, and so they did. And when they came back, you see, they were freed. All of this, and we had won our point, that this is the way college behaves when a tense situation like this arises.
Last week we had a donor scholarship luncheon. Here are some highlights.
Each year, the Office of Institutional Advancement recognizes the support of our scholarship donors and the achievements of the student recipients. The college is winding down from a phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal, fundraising campaign that you played a vital role in ensuring that our students would graduate. And for that, we thank you and applaud you. Thank you so much.
Many of us come from families where everybody can find the money for the first year, but they have a hard time finding monies for years 2, 3, and even 4. Students, I hope you realize the sacrifices others have made to provide scholarships for you today. According to a 2016 report by Sally May entitled How America Pays for College, scholarships and grants make up 34% of the total higher education payments. If you're like me, obtaining my, I don't know if like me, obtaining my undergraduate degree would not have been possible without the kindness of others, without scholarships, without grants and aid.
is partner and COO of Walter Latham Entertainment Incorporated, a multi-million-dollar company which specializes in urban comedy content creation for television, film, and digital platforms. She oversees partnerships with Netflix, Hulu, Google, YouTube, Facebook, Paramount Digital Entertainment, and others. She also works with comedians, animators, producers, and writers to create original content for digital exploitation. She has worked alongside comedy mogul Walter Latham since 2004 in various capacities and was made partner in August 2014.
I just want to tell you a little bit about my connection to Bennett College. My sister was a Bennett Belle. I was not a Bennett Belle, but my sister was, and so Bennett is near and dear to my heart. I'm a pastor, so I'm going to say this. I'm not going to be before you long, but I'm going to really try to stick to that. I want to talk to you today about water, and that may seem like an odd topic for a luncheon like this, but bear with me. In fact, I was speaking to a friend earlier this week, and she said, "You're going to be with Bennett. What are you going to talk to them about?" I said, "Water." She said, "Oh, okay. I hate I'm going to miss that." But bear with me. We're going to go somewhere with this. I've been really paying attention to water since the Michigan water crisis, and which has been going on now for close to 5 years, which is unimaginable to think in our day and time that a place could be, water poor, dealing with water, late in their water. But I started thinking about how water is something we take for granted. We don't really think about water every day, right? Even though water is essential to life, water is kind of undervalued. It's kind of under-acknowledged, kind of just not, we don't love on water like we should love on water. When you think about the fact that 70% of your brain is made up of it, it seems like you would have a little more affection to water. But we don't, right? A lot of times as we're brushing our teeth, we're allowing the water to just run down the drain. While we're waiting for the temperature to get just right, we're allowing the water to run down the drain in our shower. We fill a big old tub up of water, and then when we're done, we let it run down the drain. We're not cognizant of how precious water is. Even though 65% of our body is made up of water. Our earth is about 60+% water, but we're not talking about water very often. And it got me to thinking about the Bells. It got me to thinking about Bennett College and how water and Bennett kind of have some similarities, because I don't think we talk about Bennett enough. I don't think we acknowledge Bennett enough. I don't think we appreciate Bennett enough. And the other thing I thought about water and Bennett, I thought about the only time we start talking about water is when it's either threatened or a threat. That's when all of a sudden we want to talk about water. A water crisis, our water resources threatened, now let's talk about water. A flood, water coming in through the roof, Now let's talk about water. And I started thinking about that's kind of how Bennett has been. A lot of us, people on the outside, didn't start talking about Bennett until we saw the resource was threatened. And then we said, wait a minute, we have to protect our resource. And so I started thinking about the people who give all of the time are kind of like those people who are always watching the water and trying to protect our water resource. So thank you to all of the donors who are cognizant that this is a precious resource.
Here's Tasia Laster with the quote of the week.
Today's quote of the day comes from Josephine Baker, which says, "You are on the eve of a complete victory. You can't go wrong. The world is behind you." I believe that this quote means that all of the troubles that was stopping you from winning are over, and you are about to win, and there is nothing that anyone can do about it.
What an inspiring quote by Tasia Laster.
Yes, and I would like to thank Tasia for keeping us uplifted this spring semester of 2019.
And we only have 2 more episodes left of the Weekly Ring, and we hope that you've enjoyed this season, and we hope that you guys enjoyed your spring semester, and good luck on finals.
Yeah, the school year is coming to an end. It's bittersweet, but if you're looking for internships or job opportunities, make sure you check with Career Services before you leave.
And we have to announce that our own Ebony Duell is our new SGA president for the 2019-2020 school year.
And Tasia Laster will serve as Miss Sophomore for the 2019-2020 academic school year.
Ooh, go JMS Bells. We're so proud of everything that our JMS Bells have accomplished and will accomplish in the future.
And we're also excited for all the people that were elected for the 2019-2020 academic school year.
And if you have any questions about today's show or you want to have any announcements put on the show, contact me or Ebony. And thanks for tuning in.